Alaikum everyone. Today I was standing in my booth and then I got to meet Tyreq. He came to our booth and we were pleased to meet him for sure. I was getting to know him and he was sharing his story and it was a very interesting story. So I want you guys to listen to his story.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So,
You notice Assalamu alaikum, right?
yeah, peace be upon you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'm asking you, when I was working in my work as a retailer, sometimes the customer come and I told them, peace be upon you.
Yeah.
So they be surprised. What's peace be upon you at first? So because they know, have a good day or have a good one.
Yeah.
This is what common,
Yeah.
So when I said like peace be upon you, oh, it's very nice.
It is
For me,
very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Very nice.
So it's new for them to hear it. This is why I'm asking you. When you hear it, also did you feel the same thing when you heard it?
Yeah, every time I hear it, I get a warmth in my heart that I want to say it back.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, there was this guy.
Yeah.
He was in Fashion Fair. It was a mall in Fresno. He had a name. I forgot his name, but it was a Muslim name. So I was like, you Muslim? He said, yeah. And I said, Assalamu alaikum. And he was so happy because he looked happy.
Yeah.
But he looked 10 times happier. Didn't see another Muslim acknowledge him.
Yeah.
And we were just chopping it up and all of that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I was getting more involved in our local masjid and I'm more talkative now. Before I was very like antisocial. Before I became a Muslim, I was so antisocial. Like I don't even talk to my family like that. But now I call my family every day. I want to talk to people.
MashaAllah.
Let people know like, yeah, I'm a Muslim. And even my parents, they ask me, oh yeah, you got your beard going. I'm like, yeah, it looks nice, huh? So
Okay, I want to know what made you become a Muslim and how was you before Islam and what's the difference between Tyreq now before Islam and now after Islam?
it was during COVID. And I told my dad, I feel like I'm a slave, but for the wrong reasons. And the reason why I felt that is because I would make excuses for everything I did, even though I didn't know why I was doing it. And he told me it's only you that's making yourself feel like that. And if you feel like that, you should branch out and just basically just see the world. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. So I'm on YouTube. I'm seeing all these Dawah videos all of a sudden.
You were searching for them or you find them appearing?
I found them.
Subhanallah.
But first it was Sikhs. It was Sikhism. The Sikhism religion.
Sikh, Sikhism, yeah, okay.
So first it was them.
Why? What was special about Sikhism
Well,
or Sikhism?
my family, they were Christian and they said Jesus was God and all this stuff. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It never made any sense to me. I'm like, I couldn't get down with it.
Yeah.
But I always believed in God. So then when I read about read about it, but seen videos of Sikhism, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense to me. But the Sikh guy was talking to a Muslim guy.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, they sound exactly the same. So I'm like, why is this Muslim guy not a Sikh? Why is this Sikh guy not a Muslim? When I heard the Muslim side, I'm like, this makes way more sense. But I didn't want to become a Muslim.
But the Sikh, what is the same thing in Islam and same thing in the Sikh?
Like the oneness of God, and the book that they would read is like the original from the time that when they got it.
Yes.
But what didn't make sense to me was they were saying God was everywhere. But the Muslim guy was like, okay, but if you say God is everywhere, you mean God's in the toilet too? So I'm like, nah, that doesn't make any sense.
True.
I'm like, the Muslim guy's making more sense, but the Sikh guy was like, no, God's everywhere, and I'm like, nah, that doesn't make any sense.
But do they have like obligations?
Yeah.
They have also obligations.
Yeah, the oneness of God, and they're very respectable. Like a lot of Sikhs, they're very respectable. The way the spiritual sense of their religion, I liked it.
Yes.
But it didn't make any sense. Well, so I started looking at the Muslim guys and seeing their dawah, and I'm like, nah, this is making way too much more sense to me. And I'm like, but I didn't want to become a Muslim. I didn't want to, pray 5 times a day, and I heard I had to make wudu and wake up at a specific time.
How did you learn all this?
YouTube. So strictly YouTube.
So all like self-learning.
Self-learning.
MashaAllah.
I did have a Muslim friend, but
you said before you hated Islam.
No.
Or
I never hated Islam.
You were against it.
No, I just didn't want to take the step to be responsible.
Yes. Obligated.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
So then fast forward when I did become a Muslim, because at my job, network support, I was at this IT job. It was a internship. And there was a guy, his name was Muhammad Hussein. I still remember his name.
Yeah.
He gave me a Quran. Every day he would say, oh, did you read the Quran? I'm like, yeah. And I asked him questions. And he would give me like, lectures, like little khutbahs and stuff like that. I'm like, this guy's cool.
Yeah.
So then he's like, oh, this guy's Muslim too. This guy's Muslim too. And I'm like, wait, all you guys are Muslim here?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. So this is when Ramadan happened. So they're all fasting. And I'm like, wait, when I started like noticing there's a lot of Muslims around me and I didn't know that. So I'm like, let me fast too. So I started fasting, but I wasn't a Muslim. I'm like, wait, I can do it. And then I'm just reading, I'm looking at all the signs, and I'm like, nah, this is too real.
Yeah.
So I took Shahada by myself.
MashaAllah.
I didn't tell my parents though. So then I came to Fresno. My wife, at the time, she was a little hesitant, She's like, oh, my life is gonna
So
change.
you were married when you took this decision?
No, at first, no, we were
Yeah.
engaged.
Uh-huh.
We were engaged, but we were
Okay.
together for 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, fast forward a year later, she becomes a Muslim.
MashaAllah.
And then she started. At first, she was like, "Oh, I wasn't gonna wear the hijab. I'm not gonna study
Okay.
anymore." But once she became a Muslim, stopped everything.
Wow.
And then she would be like, "Oh, did you pray? Did you praise your prayers today? Oh, did you
MashaAllah,
make sure
MashaAllah.
that you stepped in the bathroom with your left foot? And, all this extra stuff." And I'm like, "How do you even know that?"
MashaAllah.
So yeah, like
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, like
MashaAllah,
my
MashaAllah.
wife, she pushed me. Like now I have an extra person to help me, and
Yeah, you need a companion. You need
Yeah.
a companion. This is why also when we go for the prayer, in Jumu'ah prayer, this power of association,
Yeah.
all of us, you feel you're not alone. You feel
Yeah.
that many people same like you, they're worshiping God, they believe in what you believe,
Yeah.
they afraid God. So all this make you more disciplined, Yeah.
So I'll tell you this: before
Yeah.
I became a Muslim,
Yeah.
my name before was Tyreq.
Tyreq.
The way Tyreq was irresponsible, didn't want to make any, promises to anybody, and just very, to himself. Muslim Tariq has all these friends. I have so many friends now, and we can relate and we can talk about, like, before, like, I do have good friends, like my non-Muslim friends, but they'll smoke and drink.
Yes.
My friends now, they don't smoke and drink, but we still be up till 4 a.m. just talking about Islam. Like, that's just so
MashaAllah,
crazy.
MashaAllah.
And then from everywhere, like friends from Mexico, from Pakistan, and we're all just like together drinking tea together, and like we all have wives, and it's just a perfect balance.
Amazing.
Very perfect. And I have responsibilities. I love taking care of my wife. and
MashaAllah.
Just
MashaAllah.
treating her
God
family
bless
right.
you and increase more people like you, MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, like, it's perfect.
I want to ask you, how was your family? They were supporting you? How was this like challenge with you?
I'll
and
tell
your
you
family?
this.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Yeah.
My father was a pastor before, a Christian pastor.
Oh, really? Like a schooler, yeah? Like a schooler,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
schooler, but for the church, yeah?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah,
like,
exactly.
He gave lecture. Okay, yeah.
I told him like 3 months later
Yeah.
after I became a Muslim.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I knew already. I was like, oh, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad.
So he know it, but he doesn't.
He doesn't mind it. He asked me about the match. He's like, oh, what you guys do today? What you guys talk today?
Okay.
And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I forgot what the clues. But he's like, you're not even listening. He wants me to listen. So I'm
So
like,
he's Muslim too? Or
no,
okay.
no, I'm just the only Muslim in my family.
And how your family, all of them, they are dealing with this? They're
They
supportive.
supported. They said, my dad said, as long as it makes me happy, it makes him happy.
That's really nice.
And he asked me every time he calls me every day, oh, what you guys do today? We went to the
Nice.
masjid today. Oh, what you guys eat today?
Nice. That's really nice.
Yeah. So when I was in the Christian church, the difference between a Christian church and a masjid, I should say,
Or a mosque.
the
People-
mosque.
Because some people don't
Oh,
understand
yeah,
what's
true,
masjid.
true. A mosque.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. So what I noticed in the Christian church, it was more about your appearance instead of you actually worshiping God. And in the Christian church, they will say, oh, they worship God, but they all they talk about is Jesus. I remember they would make us drink cranberry juice and eat bread because the juice was supposed to represent the blood of Jesus and the bread was supposed to represent the flesh of Jesus, which is cannibalism. That's kind of weird, but hey, neither here or there. But in the masjid, it's more quiet, calm down, read Quran before the sheikh comes, or I say the imam. It's like the Muslim pastor if you're a Christian.
What did you find interesting about Quran, since you mentioned the Quran? When you read the Quran, what really, one of the chapters or one of the verses that you can remember, or let's say, really it made you say, oh, this is really, does make sense. It's really true, I feel this.
The whole surah of Surah Ar-Rahman.
Yeah.
The whole surah.
Yeah.
Because it's,
The merciful.
yeah,
Rahman means the merciful, yeah.
because the whole surah, it just talks about like the signs that Allah gives you, and like it's so many signs and you can't even count them. And every time I read it, I'm like, nah, it's true. Like, and then like how Allah, like, even not in that surah, but in every surah, Allah reminds the believers of remembering Allah as just
Of the
one God.
Of the graces that He has
The
created
graces.
to us.
Yeah, it's the repetition that the Quran has to remind us that Allah is one and that Allah sends signs.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
And when you read the Bible, it's just like from the beginning to end, like it doesn't.
Sorry
Oh, sorry about that. From the beginning to end, it doesn't really have repetition. It's just like stories, and even in the stories, they don't corroborate each other. Like one story might say something different, and you can't have two different stories and they both be true. There's going to be one true story. When the Quran, everything is just so simple and it has repetition for you to remember it easier, because a lot in English, since God isn't complex. Like a farmer can understand God, billionaire can understand God. Want to be a Christian and read the Bible, you have to be some philosophers. You have to go to school to understand it. Read the Quran, a 5-year-old can understand the Quran.
This is what you feel, it like there's a barrier.
There's a barrier, yeah.
There's a barrier between you and knowing about the Bible and or go deep into the Bible.
That's what I hear all the time. Like there's only specific people, the people who can read between the lines in the Bible, they're the true believers. But in the Quran, you don't have to read between it. It's in your face. Allah's in your face. Like a truthful person, you know a truthful person loves you when they're in your face. A person who's a snake is always behind you and they'll put double meanings. Allah's not like that. Allah gives it to you straight. And when Allah talks to you, it hits you directly in your heart. For some people, it might hit you really hard because you know you're doing wrong and you're trying to do wrong. For other people who are doing right, it hits them in a sweet and swift way, and they're like, mashallah, like that's really nice. So it depends on the person.
Okay, what's your advice to someone who is non-Muslim and he wanted to be a Muslim? What do you advise him? What did you do so you can be like a very to be the person you are as a Tyreq now? You said 1 year now you become Muslim?
1 year.
Okay. So what did you do so people can learn from this and they can apply this in their lives, so can make a big change in their life?
What Muhammad Hussein, the guy that I work with, he told me, because a lot of non-Muslims say this.
Yeah.
They'll say, I don't want to become a Muslim because I don't think I know enough. But when you become a Muslim, you're still learning. No matter what you do every day in your life as a Muslim, you learn a new thing about Islam every single day. So don't make the excuse in saying, oh, I don't know enough about Islam. You never know enough about Islam because Allah knows everything. You're never going to know everything. Don't make that an excuse. Just take the step.
Yeah, and also like anything in the life, it takes time.
It takes time.
You don't have to rush the time.
Yep.
Just start learning, start knowing. Don't listen from me. Don't listen from Tyreq. Listen from different people. Listen from all the opinions. And then let your heart go accordingly to what you really feel. Don't try to block this because many people, they have different agenda behind them. Think about what is the purpose of me and him talking about this today and what everyone else want to tell you one thing. What is the purpose behind it? This is very important because some people just want to mislead us, and this is the big problem. All right, thank you so much, Tyreq. Anything you want to say by the end of this podcast, like very fast podcast?
I'll just say for all the Muslims, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And for the non-Muslims, take your time.
Yeah.
We're here. You have your brothers and sisters of us. Make sure. Just become a Muslim. You're gonna love it. I'm trying to tell you. I'm all the way from Boston. I'm in Fresno. I'm talking to this guy from Egypt.
Yeah, we're just getting each other
I'm talking
now.
to people from Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. They was giving me all types of stuff. I got books. Like the people they're gonna want to talk to. You're gonna make so many friends. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Inshallah. It's gonna be okay.
We got your back.
We got your back.
We got your back. Don't worry. The whole Muslim all around the world, we got your back. In the US here, all the states here, all of them, they're gonna be supportive to you for sure, 100%. And all these communities, these conventions is a very good opportunity to get to know people, to make a community, to make friends, to get closer and closer and closer to God, inshallah. You know why we say peace be upon you? Because Prophet Muhammad said that when God created Adam, he told Adam to go and greet the angels, to say peace be upon you. So it means that he came in peace for the angels. And then the angels replied back and said, peace be upon you with Allah's blessing. So then Allah told Adam, may peace be upon him, told him that this will be the greetings or the way that your ummah, your people after you will be greeting each other. So this is why we say peace be upon you, because when I come and tell you peace be upon you, it means that I come in peace to know you, and also you are vice versa, you're responding back to this make me in ease and also make the person ease. So we trust each other. This is will make a trust from the beginning of our relationship, and this is very, very valuable, you know. All right. So guys, we hope the video was nice and beneficial for you. Please share it with your people you know as well, so they benefit as well. And thank you for this. And see you soon in a new video, inshallah. Peace be upon you. مع السلامة. السلام عليكم.
ورحمة الله وبركاته.